Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on Thomas of Woodstock and we get to hear from the ghost of King Edward III today in Act 5, Scene 1. This is two ghosts in a row because things have gotten dire for Thomas. Thomas was kidnapped and sent off to Calais and the Pool is holding him. The Pool has hired a couple of murderers who are prepared to smother him while he sleeps, but the Pool doesn't really feel good about this, but he feels like he's sort of stuck in between a rock and a hard place. He either kills Woodstock or he has to deal with the wrath of King Richard, who actually doesn't want to kill Woodstock anymore because he lost Queen Anne and is now sort of rethinking his priorities in life. So the Pool at the start of the scene was arranging for the murderers. The murderers are like in the next room. He shared with us that he was having hesitations and then he goes to get the murderers. But in yesterday's monologue, we had the ghost of Edward the Black Prince, who was Richard's father, come in and try to wake Thomas up and saying, like, I wish that I had some form because I would shake the bars on this bed and wake you up, but he can't do it. So he leaves. And then in comes the ghost of King Edward III, who is Woodstock's father and King Richard's grandfather. That whole lineage thing we'll get to in a second. But the ghost of Thomas of Woodstock's father comes in and says, "Sleepst thou so soundly and pale death so nigh? Thomas of Woodstock, wake, my son, and fly. Thy wrongs have roused thy royal father's ghost, and from his quiet grave King Edward's come to guard thy innocent life, my princely son. Behold me here, sometime fair England's lord. 7 warlike sons I left, yet, being gone, not one succeeded in my kingly throne. Richard of Bordeaux, my accursed grandchild, cut off your titles to the kingly state, and now your lives and all would ruinate. Murders his grandsire's sons, his father's brothers, becomes a landlord to my kingly titles, rents out my crown's revenues, racks my subjects that spent their bloods with me in conquering France, beheld me ride in state through London streets, and at my stirrup lowly footing by 4 captive kings to grace my victory. Yet that nor this his riotous youth can stay till death hath taken his uncles all away. Thou 5th of Edward's sons, get up and fly. Haste thee to England, close and speedily. Thy brothers York and Gaunt are up in arms. Go join with them, prevent thy further harms. The murderers are at hand. Awake, my son, this hour foretells thy sad destruction." So we've got another ghost giving us a bit of a history lesson and also trying to wake up Woodstock and making me personally very happy because I always like it when I get to turn destruction into destruction. It's always fun to make those 4-syllable words. But anyway, so what he's saying is he's like, wake up, my son. And then he sort of has to identify himself because the audience may not know who he's supposed to be. But he's like, I am the former King Edward, your father. I had 7 sons who were all strong and brave and all this. I mean, look at Edward the Black Prince. But none of them got to be king. Now it's my silly grandson, Richard, who's an idiot and taking the country completely in the wrong direction. And then he goes through the list of things that we, the audience, already know that Richard has done because Richard did them in this play. Becoming a landlord, renting out the lands to his flatterers, abusing the subjects, all these sorts of things. And he's like, you know, these are the same subjects Richard is abusing who helped me beat France, but like none of this matters to him. He's just not going to be happy until all of his uncles are dead. So then he comes back full circle again to be like, please wake up and get out of here. Get back to England. Join up with your brothers, Gaunt and York, because they are ready to fight. Like, just get away from the murderers. Go save yourself. Bad things are coming. But of course he's a ghost. And he's not able to actually wake up Woodstock. So similar to the other ghosts monologue, this one has some interesting rhyming in it, and the pools also. It has some interesting rhyme schemes that kind of come and go. Like the last 8 lines of this are all in rhyming couplets, which is just sort of interesting. The beginning of it has some rhyming couplets too, which would be fun stuff to explore with your director if you ever get to perform this piece. Like, why did we bring in rhymes now with a ghost who is eagerly trying to wake up Thomas and instill in him that, like, this is bad, you need to wake up, you need to get out of here? There might actually be an answer for that that's going to come after we get to hear Woodstock's monologue that he gives us when he wakes up after this ghost leaves. He wakes up, we'll hear a monologue tomorrow, and maybe get some answers to the rhyming. I'll see you tomorrow for that. Mwah.